Weather, Mood, and Voting by Anna Bassi, a professor at UNC Chapel Hill, is an experimental analysis of the effect weather has on voter decisions. Studies have been done to determine the effect weather has on general voter turnout and turnout by party. For instance, findings show that for every inch of rain above average, voter turnout is decreased by 0.9%, but Republican share rises by 2.5%. The effect of weather-related natural disasters has on voter sentiment has also been researched. It is found that how an incumbent handles a natural disaster directly impacts their re-election prospects, with all else things being equal. Weather, mood, and voting differentiates itself in that it is not measuring by party or turnout, but the effect weather has on voting choices based on a candidate's risk profile. By stripping away party affiliation and entering risk assessment, the research attempts to draw conclusions on how inclement weather affects the general mood and outlook to see how it affects voter decision making. In this video expose, I will discuss the research by Bassi, and then I will look at how this research holds up against the 2016 presidential election. The research design involved 199 participants who were surveyed in the same outdoor classroom at the same time of day, 2 p.m. 95 of the participants were allocated to the bad weather days and 104 to the good weather days. Out of these 199, 166 completed it with 81 subjects in the bad weather and 85 in the good. The design called for 4 elements of study: good or bad weather, and positive and negative prospects. Each participant was randomly selected to experience the weather condition and were asked to take a PANX test, which is a respected test to measure a person's mood. They were also asked to fill out a short questionnaire on socioeconomic status and a variety of other societal factors. They were then asked how they thought the weather was, in efforts to weight their general weather assessment against the results of the survey. In other words, if someone actually enjoys the rain, that may produce an outlier which may be accounted for this way. Lastly, they were asked to complete a mock election survey to complete what she calls the risk aversion table. In this experiment, the weather is the independent variable and the voter sentiment is the dependent variable. The results are stark, with the safe candidate winning 75% of the vote in bad weather conditions, but only 70% of the vote in good weather conditions. In both scenarios, the risky candidate loses, which was expected. While 5% may not seem like a large jump on the surface, it can have major impacts on elections. To note, real elections are generally competitive and involve other factors like partisan allegiance, the number of people who would actually change their vote may be undecided voters anyway. The independent vote, or undecided, is often crucial in elections that are decided by just a few votes, and that is where the 5% due to weather can begin to alter outcomes. So how does this transfer to a real situation, or does it at all? To finish this video expose, I decided to compare this research to the 2016 general election. It could be said that Hillary Clinton was probably the most qualified and safest candidate on the ballot, while Donald Trump carried a great amount of risk, but seemed to possess the highest utility ceiling. The following graphic is the National Weather Report for Election Day 2016. The only states where weather was bad that went to Hillary was Illinois and Virginia. To counter that theory, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Indiana experienced inclement weather, but still fell to Trump against all predictions and polls. Most importantly, Ohio went to Trump by 8.3% while experiencing a statewide rain forecast. Further, Pennsylvania and Michigan were not expected to go to Trump at all and were razor-thin wins of under 1%. While this does not discount Bossi's research, it does not appear the weather reveals any pattern to voter choice in 2016. That being said, the 2016 presidential election was a very unique election with very unique candidates. We cannot say for certain that all things were equal between the two, and certain issues certainly could have weighted choices beyond what the weather could affect. According to the research, the weather does have a discernible but statistically small impact, so I think more field research is needed in real elections to see if this holds up long term.